The Pharisees were harsh, judgmental, arrogant jerks. Now, we can't stop there. The Bible is a mirror. We're to look into it and we're to see ourselves. So let's walk through the pathway that made these appointed defenders of God enemies of God. Now, here's a hint. The way they did it is the same way we do it today. The details are different, but the steps are the same. Step number 1 is they built fences, lots of them, just in case. Now, God builds us a fence for our protection. Now, we know that if we see a wet paint sign and it says, "Wet paint, do not touch," we are going to reach out and touch it to see how wet it is. So if God hangs a "do not do" sign, we might build a fence to keep us further away from God's fence, sort of to protect us from doing what God said don't do. We may build 2 or 3 fences to keep us far, far away from doing what God says don't do, simply because we know that if we get too close, we might do it. We're sort of like helping God out. There's 2 problems here. Number 1, God says don't do that. And 2, fences don't work. Writers need editors to tweak words and make some content more understandable. And that's good. But God doesn't need an editor to make his words understandable. Proverbs 30, verse 5 and 6 says, "Every word of God is flawless. He is a shield to those who take refuge in him. Do not add to his words, or he will rebuke you and prove you a liar." Teach my word. And don't throw in your own words. Don't throw in any church tradition. Don't teach your opinion. No matter how good your logic is, God doesn't need our help. Listen to Colossians chapter 2, verse 20 to 23. "Since you died with Christ to the elementary spiritual forces of the world, why, as though you still belong to the world, do you submit to its rules? Do not handle, do not taste, do not touch." These rules, which have to do with things that are all destined to perish with use, are based on merely human commands and teachings. Such regulations indeed have the appearance of wisdom, with their self-imposed worship, their false humility, and their harsh treatment of the body. But they lack any value in restraining sensual indulgences. All these fences do no good. You can climb a fence if you choose to. Fences don't stop us.